So welcome. Hi everybody. Good morning. How are you doing today? Great. My name is Daniel Cobb. My pronouns are he and him, and it is an absolute good morning, an absolute wonder and joy to see all of you here today. It's great to start the new year with, seeing so many familiar faces and even some fresh ones. And just want to let you know from our congregation to each one of you personally that you are welcome here, and we are so happy to see you. We will now light the chalice as I say these opening words. The opening words is titled "The Names of Love" by the Reverend Scott Taylor. We light this chalice in the names of love, the love of family that brings us into being, allows us to bloom, and then sends us on our way with courage, knowing we can return no matter what. The love of partnered hearts that teach us to trust and help us know that who we are does not end at the barrier of our own skin. The love of friends who help us feel seen and sing our song back to us when we cannot hear it with our ears alone. The love of community that bathes us in belonging and calls us to see the needs of others as our own. And the greatest love, the love that will not let us go, even in our fear, even in our failure, even when we are lonely or lost. Love invites us home. If we listen, it is doing so, even today. I will now invite the choir up and for the congregation to stand as we move to our opening hymn, hymn number 131, Love Will Guide Us. We will now recite together our covenant. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our covenant, to dwell together in peace, to speak the truth in love, and to help one another. Thank you. You may be seated. I will now welcome Barbara up to the lectern, and we will do the Time for All Ages.
Well, the Time for All Ages is going to be a hug demonstration. There's many different kinds of hugs. When I looked all this up, I found out they declared there were 16. I dropped it down to 8, and they're all G-rated. So the kids are going to help us with the hugs. We're going to do the classic hug. And this is a warm and intimate hug between friends and family. The classic hug is one of the most common hugs. And the hugger wraps your arms around each other and your chests are touching and your heads are side by side.
You guys want to demonstrate that with each other or with a person of your choice?
Perfect. Thank you. You typically get and receive this kind of hug when you say goodbye to someone. And you going to come join us? Yeah, please. And it's also a greeting, maybe perhaps after you haven't seen anyone in a long time. The next one is the side hug. The side hug is casual, less personal. When you're greeting an acquaintance, they might quickly drape an arm around your shoulders. It's minimal touching. The hug is only the sides of the bodies, and it's more friendly and polite. So this is a side hug.
If you'd like, you could demonstrate this with the person next to you. Would you like to do that? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's right. Side hug. And then we have the quick hug. A short hug is friendly. It's a friendly social greeting. This is a common hug that doesn't mean much beyond a polite acknowledgement. Your upper bodies may touch, your lower bodies do not. And you receive this hug from an old friend or colleague. Okay, so this is the quick hug. It's really quick. Okay, and then we have a one-arm hug. The hug is just one arm, and it's friendly and platonic. You receive this hug. The hugger wraps one arm around your back with minimal chest and body touching. One arm hug.
Just do it.
With your neighbor.
Just do it.
There. And this is the patting hug. The patting hug signifies a warmth and comfort hug among friends. The hug is strictly friendly with just a few pats or rubs on the back. The connection is between the shoulders and chest, and it's really meant just to be a hug among close friends. Most people call this a bro or buddy hug. Just a pat on the back.
Everybody.
Yeah. There you go. And the next one, the next slide. I love that picture, don't you? This is the unreciprocated hug. Translated, I don't want a hug. Not everybody's a hugger. An unreciprocated hug can be cold and unwanted. If you remain motionless with your arms at your sides during a hug, that can signify that you don't want a hug and you're feeling very uncomfortable. You're all doing a good job at that. And then if you don't want a hug, there's always a fist pump. Yay. Next slide. Then there is the self hug. You wrap your arms around yourself to provide comfort. Sometimes this is used when there's no one else around for reassurance. And you're lucky that you can just put your arms around yourself and squeeze, and you'll make yourself feel better. And then the last hug is the group hug. Can you all do a group hug?
Group hug. Group hug. Group hug.
Okay. The group hug is when multiple people signify warmth and togetherness, and you gather yourself together in a tight ball and hug one another. So thank you so much, kids. Appreciate it. Thank you, Bradley. And thank you to Teresa, who also helped with the kids.
Next, we'll be moving on to our offering. This is the time where it is appropriate to place your Apple gift cards in the basket to help found the efforts of this church both within and beyond our walls. So we'll have a little music from the music crew over there as the baskets go in. Our message today is from Barbara Wright. She is a being who is full of joy and love for her fellow man, and I can't imagine a better person to speak on this particular topic, and I, for one, look very forward to what we have today. Barbara, please come over, please.
Wait a second. We got to set this up right here. Hello, my name is Barbara Wright, and my pronouns are she and her. I'm a member of this congregation, and I'm happy to be here today. National Hug Day. How many people knew there was a National Hug Day? Me either. I was asked to do the presentation originally on the 21st of January, and I looked it up and found out it was National Hug Day. Then we switched the date, but it's still in January. So National Hug Day is a holiday that is celebrated on January 21st annually. As its name implies, the holiday is one in which people are encouraged to hug one another. Hugging is not only a way for people to show affection to one another, but hugging also provides distinct health benefits to both parties involved, or in a group hug, the many parties involved. Just another reason to celebrate the holiday and to give someone you love a deserved hug. Next slide. People hug. To give you a history of National Hug Day, and I got this from Psychology Today. According to popular sources, National Hug Day was first created by Kevin Zaborny in 1986. He decided to choose the 21st of January for the holiday because it fell between Christmas and Valentine's Day. The main reason he decided to create this holiday is he felt the American society was too timid about hugging and about expressing their feelings in public. So he created the Hug Day to hopefully change that narrative. Facts about hugging. Most people think they know everything about hugging, but I'm here to challenge that assertion. There's quite a few things about hugging that people aren't aware of. So let's look at some of the amazing facts about hugging. Next slide. I love this one, animals hugging people. Hugs have a therapeutic effect on people. Hugs are a good way to show someone you care about them. What's more, they're good for your health. Hugs can decrease the release of cortisol. Cortisol is a stress hormone. And other research indicates that hugs decrease your blood pressure and your heart rate. And that helps in stressful situations. Giving and receiving hugs can also strengthen your immune system. Hugging also has a therapeutic effect on your brain. Your brain has specific pathways created to detect human touch. We can detach ourselves from people and get locked up in our world. And didn't we do that during COVID? Just the physical act of hugging someone really does connect us with them and lets down some of our defenses. Hugging communicates that you are safe, that you are loved, and that you are not alone. Hugs release oxytocin, and it's a hormone that promotes trust between individuals and helps with depressive feelings. Most people begin their hugs leading in with their right arm. A hug can increase self-esteem. It can diffuse tension and combat fear. Hugging also helps to relieve pain. Once again, thanks to the hormone oxytocin. Hugging also helps to fight fatigue, and it may lower the risk of heart disease. Hugging a person, or even an inanimate object, such as a teddy bear, can help a person deal with stress and or fear. The average hug takes approximately 3.17 seconds. I think we can improve on that. But hugging is at least 6,000 years old, if not older. So the basic rules of hugging, and this information I got from Susan Krauss Whitbourne, PhD. She's a professor emerita of psychological and brain sciences at the University of Massachusetts, Amherst. Hugging, of course, takes place in many situations, from greetings and goodbyes to funerals and to congratulations for the kids graduating from schools. We certainly hug a lot, but who decides when it's appropriate to hug or not? Have you ever reached over to hug a non-relative, casual acquaintance, or a colleague, only to feel that you've overstepped your boundaries as you saw them pull away? Clearly, we could use some guidelines. Help us determine when to hug, when to shake hands, or whether to avoid touching whatsoever. Try to gauge the other person's signals. Some people automatically hug without giving it a second thought. If you're an overhugger, you need to pause before you lunge to test out the other person's body language. If he or she is standing straight as a board and shows no signs of bending towards you, either let the other person initiate the hug, or if you must touch, hold out your hand instead. Figure out the best way to hug. A group of European researchers found older adults particularly seem to like a slow, gentle, social touch. It is mostly what you feel when someone gives you a warm and gentle hug. If you're going to hug someone, then the chances are someone older will receive your hug better than someone younger. And don't give a bear hug. However, don't assume that just because someone is older that they will welcome the hug. as cultural and other social factors might make that hug seem ill-timed. Look at what other people are doing in the situation. A graduation hug that's repeated 50 times by everyone going through the ceremony. Or it might be a receiving line at a wedding, reception, a funeral, or other highly charged events. Be careful when hugging someone at work. I think there's a few people out there that still work. It's wise to stay away from hugging as a way to show you care about your colleagues. It's also best to leave hugging for social occasions, such as when someone leaves the company or retires. But again, it only seems acceptable in the context of you need to only do what seems acceptable in the context of the workplace. Know when a safe haven hug is called for. A hug may help someone who is emotionally hurting, in which case it is much like a hug a parent would give a small child. The term safe haven refers to the ability of a hug to make someone feel cared for and understood. This hug may be long, and it's best to offer it to someone you know reasonably well. Be prepared to reciprocate a hug offered to you. Perhaps you're not a hugging type, but others around you are. If you don't hug back, you'll be perceived as unfriendly and standoffish. If you're truly bothered by hugging, are afraid of catching someone else's germs, or the other person is sweaty and a little smelly, figure out a nice way to edge out of it. As they move towards you, you can turn your body to the side, extend your hand for a shake, or stiffen up a bit to try to avoid the contact. If this happens repeatedly, you might say, as you may have noticed, I'm not much of a hugger. They may appreciate that honesty and as much as they would appreciate an actual reciprocated hug. Physical affection between people who care about each other is certainly a desirable and pleasant experience. With an appropriate degree of hugging, you will be able to find fulfilling and reasonable ways to keep strong the bonds of friendship. The next slide. Animals hugging. So we have at the top a chimpanzee hugging two baby leopards, a mama cat hugging her two kittens, two little dogs hugging on the beach. I had a dog that looked like them. Two sloths hugging, an otter family hugging, and two baby bunnies. Aww. Hugging humans are not the only ones that hug. Other animal species also hug one another, and animals and humans hug too. Before I end my message, I want to introduce Brett Ramsey in our congregation, who has a message to give to everyone.
Hello. Some of you know, I kind of low-key nominated myself a few months ago to kind of be the official hugger of our church. And I've been notified this morning that it's now official, that I am the official hugger of our church. So I will happily participate in all 8 of the types of hugs, except for the unwanted hug. So that way, I don't get to participate. But yes, just wanted to let you all know.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you, Brett.
Open for business.
And Brett did tell me that this kind of happened when he was a child. He has a brother, and his mother always said that he was the best hugger. So, again, hugging communicates that you are safe, loved, and that you are not alone. And it's a much, much needed message. May it be so.
I will say, just in case anyone is curious, Brett is a pretty good hugger. I mean, like, it's up there on the 9.5, maybe approaching 10. He needs a little more practice, so just make sure you give him a little bit more, because Barbara's sneaking up on him. All right, I will invite the congregation to stand and the choir to come on up for our closing hymn, number 134. Our closing hymn is 134, Our World is One World. Our closing words. Now, may the love of truth guide you, the warmth of love hold you or hug you, and the spirit of peace bless you, this day and in the days to come. Amen. Go now in peace.